Hey everyone, it's your boy Hutch, and I'm here for an update of whether my philosophy for changing who I am, or becoming more the real me, is actually successful or not. So, hopefully, you'll follow along, get to observe what I'm doing, make your own path in life, and also learn something, or we can learn from each other. Stay tuned. As I told you about earlier, I have seven fields, or what I call seven pillars, in my life that I'm trying to improve on, because I feel these pillars are foundational to having a fulfilling and successful life. And the first pillar, and most essential and important pillar, in my point of view, is my faith. And my faith goal currently is to become closer to God, have a very strong relationship where I talk to Him and pray every day and just take it one day at a time. And also to improve on my virtues, to be a man that is a good, godly man, but still also uniquely myself, because I believe I was wonderfully and beautifully created. And also, the last goal is to have more love, not just for God and myself, but also for others, including those who dislike me or my enemies. For my current situation, I am changing my mindset. Instead of having long, elaborate prayers, if they're short, they're short. But the whole point of my prayer life is to be sincere. Talk about what's on my heart. Talk about the struggles, how it hurts, and I don't like the pain I'm feeling, that I currently am tired. It's only been a couple of weeks, but is losing part of myself in order to gain something down in the future, but it's not the future yet. And it's draining and takes time, but through prayer, I am learning patience, taking it calm, having hope of the future and achieving my goals, but also learning to focus on the day that I am given at hand, because I don't know what the future will bring. So focusing on one task at a time, writing it down, and just in learning to enjoy and be thankful for the day that I have. It's difficult, and I am one who wants things done now. I want things to be better. But that's not how you form a habit, and that's not how you form a lifestyle that is sustainable and will bring about happiness, joy, health, etc., and be able to accept all the blessings that God has for me. It's also important to me because it is the base for everything else. Everything for me, just like how history is intertwined, faith and the other pillars are all intertwined. And with faith being the basis, it is going to be the source and strength for whenever I get tired of one area or I feel disheartened and something doesn't work out. It's my faith that will help give me energy and hope and just movement, or even times just rest and patience to be able to still keep going towards that goal. So if I am Catholic and that's what I believe, but even if you are atheists or have a very different belief, I still think it's important to have a belief that is bigger and outside of yourself, to be able to look at the bigger picture and also look at the day that you have so you can learn to embrace your humanity, embrace your weaknesses, but also grow in your strengths and improve every single day. So my second pillar is family. So my current goals with my family is to have a close, deep bond with each member in my family. And also to, whenever I talk to them, to have close, sincere, and pretty much amazing conversations like I would with any of my friends. But I also have the goal of becoming a connecting piece, so that if there's any conflict or anything, I can be a peacemaker or help set up events for family reunions, etc. I just want to be a major player in my family and to have an effective role. So the current situation with my family is that we are very much a military family. Currently, I'm the only one who's active. Everyone else is retired. But with that, we all live across the country in various states. Um, so that makes it harder to meet up and hang out as often as we would, or compared to a lot of other families. Another situation is COVID, and that's making it harder for us to meet as often or as for as long as we would like to. Sadly, I was not able to go home for last Christmas, but I am hoping that things do get better, and when the time comes that I am able to see my family again this coming year. Also, my family, we are very loving, very close, and also very stubborn, and can sometimes hold a grudge. So, with my goals is being able to strengthen that aspect, so when there does come conflict, and conflict will usually come, especially around election season, being able to strengthen those bonds that we have so much in common. And it's not just blood, it's also love, values, morals, and just how we want to take care of each other and want the best for one another. The reason this pillar is so important to me is because I need to have that support system. I need to know that I am wanted and I am loved. No matter how much I mess up, no matter if I do something stupid, that there are people in my life who will say, I love you, I want to be there. And even if you mess up completely, you're going to be okay. But another thing with that love comes honest feedback. Knowing that they can tell me the truth that will hurt me, but in a loving way, because they really do want the best for me and they don't want anything from me except what's best in life. So having that kind of honest feedback is something I consider worth having. And of course, just having love, that deep connection, that love that doesn't care what you've done in the past or what hurt. Yes, there are certain situations and things that will take time to heal, but also knowing that when you become family, either through blood, marriage, or even extremely close friendship, that love is something that is not going to just go away because you hurt my feelings or because we have a conflict. It would take a lot for any bond to break, but having such care for each other that we would avoid having those bonds be threatened in the first place. So that is why I consider the pillar of family to be so important to me. So on to the next pillar, which will be fitness. My goals there is pretty simple. I hope to be down to 15% body fat. A little lower will be okay. Have a healthy diet in order to feel good. So eating habit would probably be a better word, but depends on how you want to use the word diet. And also to be more mentally healthy and have greater self-confidence. So those are my goals for the year. Currently, as of 18 January, I am 254 pounds, and as the largest point on my stomach, I am 44 and a half inches. So that is a loss of 8 pounds and inch and a half since the 1st of January, which I am very proud of. Currently, I am working out 6 times a week, 3 days of lifting, 2 days of cardio, and 1 day of yoga and stretching. And for mental health, the one thing I'm letting go, and it's been a real struggle, is letting go of other people's opinions, especially those who really don't know me, since a lot of people don't really know how to ask questions to figure out who you are. So why should their opinions matter to me? In the end, either you like me or not, and that is something I'm trying to ingrain into myself. The reason that this pillar is very important to me is because I want to feel good about myself. I grew up very insecure about how I looked constantly, and now at 32, I'm looking at pictures of my past. I'm like, wow, actually I was good looking, I was in shape. Why did I have such insecurity? And now, because of a lot of bad choices on my side and letting unhealthy mental aspects affect me too much, I am now focused on reversing that so I can feel good about myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Also, honestly, I just want to look good. I want to be attractive to people. I want to attract people's attention. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong about that. However, instead of actually trying to appeal to a certain person and chasing them, I'm just going to be the best version and best body that is natural to me and see who that attracts and then work with that. Plus, I know a lot of people are very much about body positivity, and I want you to understand, I don't think I'm ugly. I'm just fat. And I'm in a place that is physically unhealthy because it's in an obese level. So if you care about me, you would want me to be healthy. Which is actually the third reason, because being healthy will help me sleep better, will help me have better mental health, and being able to do more and live more out of life, because it's amazing. So I don't want to limit myself because I don't have the self-discipline to tell myself no. But this is why, for me, the third pillar of fitness is important. The fourth pillar is personal finances. So the goals I have in this arena is $10,000 in emergency savings, $5,000 to travel and at least have gone on 2 trips this year. But because of everything going on in our world currently with the coronavirus, I'll have to see how that goes. So that's manageable. But the most important goal is having a disciplined, accurate budget and making sure that I stick to that budget and not overspend. So when it comes to these goals, I'm actually doing really well. I have been keeping very disciplined on my spending and making sure that when do calculations I round up so that way I don't ever get close to overdrawing. And with how everything is going, I actually might be able to reach my year goals early and be able to expand in other things. In particular, I hope to be able to put more money into traveling and enjoying the world and seeing what's going on, especially with mini vacations. I'm going to take a look into that. But keeping a daily habit of watching my spending and making conscious choices of when I do spend and how much I do spend is my current situation. The reason this pillar is important to me is because I used to live paycheck to paycheck. And I took that very personally. It hurt my pride, especially when I couldn't do anything or had to ask my parents for help. And for me, being an older man, I never wanted to be dependent on others in that sort of way. So being able to have all these economic goals allows me to live life, being able to go out, enjoy it and everything, but also have the peace of mind that comes from knowing that if something happens that I'll be okay and it's not going to wreck my whole life. The other reason this field's important is because it plans for the future. I'm not sure if I will find someone, but maybe if I do, we'll start a family and I would want my kids to have a good life, build up on generational wealth, and be able to help them succeed in life and hopefully pass down a lot of values, especially the last one, which is the last important reason, and that is I believe that money is meant to be used to help others as well. It's not just for fun, it's not just for power or whatever reason that people have for when to collect large amounts of money. The main reason in my mind is to take care of yourself, take care of your family, but also take care of those who don't have as much or be able to help others. Because money to me is a tool. It is not something that you just hoard up, because then you lose part of your humanity or who you are as a person. So this is pretty much summing up how I view finances and my financial pillar. So pillar number 5 is education. My current goals is to learn something new every week, to know myself inside and out, and also expand knowledge base into areas that I have no fucking clue about. So my current situation is I'm learning about economics this month because I know some things but not enough to be able to grow in a way that I want to. So because of the wonders of technology, why I can teach myself. Another thing I'm actually teaching myself is YouTube, such as video editing, shooting, practicing in that area, because I'm hoping that this channel becomes successful and I can help a lot of people through just showing them how my life is. And last is keeping a weekly journal, so that way I can review and it's like, oh, what was my mindset? What was I thinking back then? And learning how to analyze myself in complete honesty and learn to actually like myself a little bit more, or have helpful criticism of what I did in the past that wasn't so successful. The reason I consider this pillar so important is it allows for growth. It allows you to take what you know or you believe and put it to the test to either make it firmer or lead you down the path of having to change. Because when you study more, when you learn more, you should also have a growing love for truth and facts rather than relying on your pride and your feelings. Don't get me wrong, feelings and emotions do matter in certain cases, but you should not make a lot of decisions based on those alone. And the reason that I believe that I need to have weekly learning or try to learn constantly is so I can have informed opinions, so I don't sound like an idiot when I'm debating politics or having a conversation. I'm always open to learning, and I have to be okay with being wrong. But if I do stand for a position, I better have the facts that support where I stand, because, again, it comes down to this. Truth is more important than my pride. And for me, this is why I decided to make education a pillar in my life as well. So on to pillar number 6, which is career. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm in the Navy. And the current goals I have is testing at a 3.3 in my language. If you haven't guessed it, I'm a linguist. And in our ranking, I am hoping to get a ranked MP on our next eval, which being an E6, I get those evals in November. Or we're supposed to get them in November. And now, because I've been in for 13 years, I'm starting to think about what I want to do post-Navy. Because there's going to come a time where I need to get out, and I've done my due diligence to serve my country. So, my current situation, on my last eval, I got a P, which isn't bad. It just means that I pretty much did my job, and many other sailors did perform better than me. I'm not mad at them, but I do want to try to do better. Also, because of everything going on in this world and just some internal aspects of myself, I just want to be able to contribute and do the best I can. I'm not always going to be the best, and there's going to be moments where I'm just tired, but just to focus and give what I can for that day to be able to help those who I work with and to push further the interests of our country. But also, to be bluntly honestly speaking, is I'm also going through a change of heart right now. Before, I was ambitious and wanting to excel so I could become an officer, but over the past year and some things at my command, I just don't have that drive anymore, and it made me question, why do I want to be an officer? And in the end, the reasons for becoming an officer were not good enough to go through everything that would be required of me, because it's just not my passion, it's not my calling. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I feel that it's more worth my time and more beneficial to pursue what really drives me, to pursue my passion, what I believe I was created to do. So why is career important, and why am I continuing in it? Well, one, I still believe it's very much an honor to serve this country, to wear the uniform, and there are amazing people that I work with, and I'm so glad I met them. I would never trade in my memories or what I am doing right now to pursue something else. Also, it's about keeping my word. I promised to serve for a certain number of years, and I do plan to retire from the Navy. And plus, practicality. I have good pay and a lot of educational benefits that come from being in the Navy currently. And being at 32, being able to retire around 38, 39, it's more beneficial for me to be in the Navy right now and to set myself up for the next stage in life. So for me, this is why career is pillar number 6. We come to the final pillar, which is romance. But because it's final does not mean that it's the least important. It's something that is very dear to me and something very important. So having goals in this area is kind of weird because you can't force someone to be in a relationship with you. But what you can do is work on yourself to get to that point. And that's what my goals are about. So first goal is to have true self-love and acceptance. And the truth is that I am not at that point yet. Like, I like myself, but I don't truly love myself enough to avoid certain situations that would cause me harm. Or be put in a place where it doesn't serve my best interests or the interests of those around me. And I still have aspects of internalized homophobia that I need to work on. And it would be kind of hard to have a gay relationship when you have homophobic tendencies within yourself. Another aspect is to re-centralize my being and desexualize how I treat other people. And what I mean by that is taking again like the beauty, simplicity, and pretty much like innocence of holding a hand, hugging a person that you have a crush on, and having those good feelings. Pretty much returning to that point where you did have innocence and weren't hurt or scarred. But with that, desexualizing others, learning to have intimacy without sexuality attached to it. And my last goal is learning to not chase dudes, just be myself, stop changing myself to gain their approval or their attraction, but simply be attractive by being myself and letting those who like me come to me, and we work that out between ourselves about how we want things to work instead of me trying to force everything to happen. So currently, in order to make that happen, I am working on doing daily affirmations, learning to like aspects of myself, or learning to heal certain aspects of myself that I need to work on or have noticed. And another aspect to help, or another way that helps me accomplish this, is learning how to value others, not being judgmental in my own mind. Because I've noticed that when I am very judgmental or critical or constantly comparing myself to others, not only am I demeaning them or devaluing them, but I turn that upon myself and I'm hurting myself in the process, which is insane and does nothing. But if I learn to love others as who they are and see what's beautiful and amazing that what God created, and then through that process I can see what's good, beautiful, and amazing and how wonderful God made me. And the last is honestly avoiding porn, because I have noticed that I've consumed way too much in the past and it actually led to depression and over-sexualizing men and having a whole lot of other issues. And I understand it's different. I'm not trying to talk about like the politics or morality behind it, but just my own struggles and what I've noticed it has done to me. So been pretty much avoiding that and anything that would trigger me to want to watch that. The reason this pillar is important to me is because, if I'm being completely honest, I want that true romantic love connection. I want to find that one person, that one man in my life to walk through this life with and become better men, possibly have a family, and make history, to leave our mark and be a part of society, to play our role in this great story of life. And I don't want to do it alone. I'm okay if God has different plans for me and I don't have a partner, but I do want one. And the simple fact of this desire is enough for me to justify it being a pillar. Also, it's self-healing. Learning how to love myself allows others to love me, because their job is not to heal me. That's not their job. Their job is to just love me as I am, but I can't look at them to be my happiness, to fulfill everything that I desire, because that's not a fair requirement to put on anyone. But wanting to be the best who I am, which will be someone who's mentally, physically, and emotionally whole, to give the best of myself to them, and I would hope that they give the best of themselves to me. Which leads to the final reason of why it's important, and it's about forming the right mindset to be in a relationship. And as desperately, or as much, I want to say desperate, I hope I'm not desperate anymore, but as much as I deeply desire to be in a relationship right now, I know I'm not ready yet. But I want to be ready for when the opportunity comes or presents itself, whenever God deems that timing to be. But for now, I'm okay with just focusing on learning to love myself, because having a partner or having romance is not going to make me happy in the end. But learning to love myself and enjoy life as it is part of romance. And that's one thing at least I can do and work on. And this is why I consider this one of the most precious pillars, but also it is last, because if I focus on doing something for other people rather than for myself, it will set up everything else wrong. So, you might be wondering, how do I accomplish all this, especially the 7 pillars? Well, like the giant nerd that I am, I get it from my mother. This is my board. So, as you can see, I have pretty much all my goals, but I've broken it down to year, quarter, so every 3 months, and then month. And yes, I even go down to planning out the very day of what I'm going to accomplish. One way I do that is color coding. Each field has a color. And what I do is I focus on that day. I pretty much go, okay, these are my year goals. Let's break it down to a quarter to reach that, and then focus on a month in that quarter, going down to the week, and taking those weekly goals that I have and saying, what can I accomplish today? The reason I do that is because if I keep focusing on the bigger picture or looking at ways that things could go wrong, I get disheartened. I pretty much start panicking, and then I just want to quit because it just seems too big. But being able to break down everything to just, what can I do today to accomplish a bigger goal? And suddenly it's a lot more manageable. And it helps me be able to keep discipline, because I'm pretty much thinking, okay, I know what I have to do today. I know that if I get this done, I get closer to my goal. And it's an act of faith for me. I am praying that pretty much by following these steps, that I will be able to make amazing changes in my life by having faith that God's there to guide me along the way, but only just focusing on the day that I am given and being able to be flexible if I have to. There's a great saying from, it's either St. Augustine or St. Augustine, but it goes along the line of, God provides the wind, but man has to lift the sail. And for me, this daily tasker is my sail to reach the goals. So, another thing that I'm not sure if you saw on the board that I have on there, each field also has its own saint, but I'll go into detail on that in other videos when I focus on more of the philosophy of the different pillars. If you made it this far and watched the whole video, I would definitely like to thank you. I hope that it was inspiring or helps you better understand who I am and what I'm going through at this time. I request that if you're a person of faith, that you please pray for me and support me. And if you have no faith or it's questionable for you right now, good vibes are cool. Just any kind of support would be amazing. And I would also like to bless and encourage all of you going on your own journey of self-improvement, growth, healing, etc., that it goes extremely well. And if you're following my path, or anything close to it, I hope that you succeed, and I hope that you feel inspired and motivated to go get it done. If you fall, it's okay. Just get back up. The paper, the goals, it hasn't changed. All that you can do is learn another way that it didn't work, but find another way that it will. Hope that your day is amazing, may be blessed, and I'll see you next time.